Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the stage in Wuhan for this clash between the LCK champions and the finalists from the NALCS, the Immortals. If Immortals win, they secure a spot in the quarterfinals. If Longzhu win, it forces a three-way tiebreaker to be played out after this game. And Longzhu are going to change it up as we move into this one, gents. They're bringing in their top lane sub. Khan is out.
Woo! Exactly. And when we heard Rascal is in, we're like, wait, who's that? I went to talk to Papa Xmithie. He said he played one game in LCK this split. They did lose the game, but Papa Xmithie says he didn't embarrass himself. He was fine. So that's as much as we're going with. Honestly, it looks like Longzhu just want to get him some stage time for the unlikely scenario in which Khan was injured or something like that happens later on. You know, you don't want anything like that to happen, but since they're secure already in the group, they want to try and, you know, get their substitute some game time.
And I can hear all the European fans being like, wait, you're lowering your top lane strength? Why would you do this? Like, we need the three-way tiebreaker. But Immortals, they must be feeling pretty confident right now, having the opportunity to take advantage of someone who's not used to the stage. They're going to be playing against Immortals, who have looked strong for the very least the first week of the World's group stages, but have been struggling as we come into the second week.
Definitely struggling in the opening games today here for Immortals, and if they are to have confidence, they're going to have to overcome a lot of the other big, you know, priority targets here on Longzhu. Praying Gorilla, definitely a huge force from the bottom side of the map.
I think in general for Immortals, I mean, going to have to shake off kind of a lot of what's happened already this week. North America's week 2 group stage at Worlds is typically not great historically, so they're going to have to shake it off, give North America and themselves their first win of today. And if they can do that, just breathe a sigh of relief. They've made it. If not, stop flipping some tables. We're going to have some fun at the end of this game.
It's going to be an exciting day, that's for sure, or it's going to be an exciting game. The question is, what do Immortals choose to prioritize? Because when we look across some of the star performers of Immortals from throughout the day, you kind of have to look at Xmithie and Pobelter, because you think of Pobelter playing a really good game in week 1. A lot of eyes were on him to level up that performance. But then in week 2, he has struggled. He hasn't had that same sort of impact. He has been getting caught out of position. He has been punished. And going up against one of the star mid laners at the whole tournament in BDD, we have to question whether or not Pobelter will be able to shake off some of his poor performances.
Exactly. We had even a stat coming into this week of how well Pobelter has absorbed enemy jungle presence early on. And in week 1, it was great. He actually hadn't died pre-15 minutes with like 20% more enemy jungle time. However, this week, he has died in every game at pre-15 minutes. See if Longzhu actually focuses around mid lane or if he's able to get some fresh air.
Now, the last time we did see these two teams play, we saw a high priority on the Ezreal jungle from the side of Immortals, expecting a Jarvan to go into the jungle, and it ended up being Cuzz bringing out the Kha'Zix and then Khan playing out that Jarvan. And Immortals did a great job of just snowballing the bottom lane. They put a huge amount of pressure onto Gorilla, utilizing this early game Ezreal pick. And the way the bans are trending right now, it feels like they could look to prioritize that once more.
And you can see there for Rascal there, of course, the top lane sub coming in for Longzhu. Actually has more games than just the one LCK. Has a 3-5 record, if I recall correctly, in the LJL, so has time in the Japanese Professional League. But this will easily be the biggest stage he has ever played on. And yes, Longzhu, they have already locked in that #1 seed, moving out of this into quarters. But what a better way to show your dominance as a team, to win Korea, come to Worlds, go undefeated, and then just throw the 3 other teams into a scramble and say, whatever, one of you is going to make it.
Yeah, fight you, fight! Well, here we go. Last ban is Kog'Maw from Longzhu. That has been one that Cody Sun has relied heavily upon, but you know, the things like Twitch and that are still available if they did want to go late game.
A lot of options here. Immortals favoring the Lulu, actually take it first.
I've talked to quite a few supports about the Lulu versus Janna debate that's been going on, and a lot of them say it just comes down to personal preference. To me, I feel like most of the AD carry players prefer a Lulu on their team because as an AD carry, Lulu's power is more concentrated on the AD carry. You feel that extra attack speed. You feel the extra wild growth just on you. But as far as when I'm looking at it, the Janna and her team-wide effect of the full team-wide reset of the ultimate feels better from the team perspective. And maybe, you know, the AD carry is a little bit more weight in that one.
I do find it interesting that Longzhu looked to take away the Varus, because if they wanted to try and go for something like a Tristana here, they would expect Immortals to go for the Trist, and so Longzhu are trying to get themselves a strong 2v2 down the bottom lane. You could pair this up with the Janna, and you're guaranteed a pretty reliable 2v2 in the bottom lane that's not just going to get shoved under the tower, which is what Lulu and Trist are very well known for. And that's one of the things, talking to some of the players, they say is the key difference. Lulu, very much more powerful in terms of the laning phase, but Janna, she just has so much utility and value in resetting and the late game fights.
Kind of split the difference there as far as the first 6 picks goes. The other one, of course, is potential junglers being traded. Jarvan was the first pick overall for Longzhu in this rotation, and Xmithie on Sejuani, so kind of out of some of the more high-tempo junglers he was known for, and back to more of a solo tank as Longzhu, again, still thinking about Flame in that top lane, will ban Maokai here as their first ban in Phase 2.
All right, mid lane is going to be the focus here from Immortals, taking out the Syndra from BDD first. Will, Galio is still available as well, and they already have the Jarvan on the Longzhu side, so that could be a very potent combination for them if they could grab that for BDD.
Taliyah and Ryze, also very big picks. The last time these two met up, it was Pobelter's Ryze versus BDD's Taliyah, and BDD, he had a lot of impact in terms of being able to roam around the map and find good picks on that champion, and also just seems to be a big pick over in Korea. Those Taliyah players are pretty insane.
It's funny you mention that. There just aren't that many Taliyah players at this tournament, but 2 of them are on your screen right now, sitting in their respective lanes. So Trundle will instead be the ban there for Immortals. Longzhu targeted Cassiopeia, so a mid lane ban there for their final one, but now Longzhu kind of get the first option here coming out into Phase 2.
A little bit of extra power there due to the flexibility of Jarvan. They draw a top lane ban as well. Could possibly be a nice front line here. Everybody's been very happy to jump on that Cho'Gath train. So good for later in the game for the extra true damage in your front line battles. But all our Taliyah talk is not in vain, and it does come through even with the Galio being available.
I think that the goal here for Longzhu is they still want to keep that flex option available for Jarvan, because if Immortals pick a tank top, you can put the Jarvan into it, and then you can pick something tanky in the jungle if you want. Alternatively, if you see the Cho'Gath top, you could then put the Jarvan in the jungle, and then you can pick like an answer, like Gnar is still available if they believe in Rascal to be that kind of carry player. And with Trundle banned, there's the possibility of a Camille, but I'd expect more something like Gnar.
All right, so the Corki is going to come through for Immortals in the end. They are going to have some good late game damage along with a solid front line, but will they be able to get there? And as soon as you start talking about other champions for top lane, one of the things that has plagued some of the NA teams has been Shen from top side. It really messes with your early river control, your early bottom side control, and that is going to be the case here for Rascal, grabbing this one up.
I'm excited to see how he will stack up against Flame, who is a veteran in terms of League of Legends. He's been playing for a number of years, and throughout the first week of group stages, he was one of the standout performers along with Pobelter on this Immortals squad, and now he's going to be going up against Rascal, who very new to a very big stage. Yeah,
I know one of the things Azale was talking about and Impact likes to do on Shen is run up through to your lane brush early on and place your Spirit Sword pretty far up in the lane, so that then when the tank comes up to the minions, just right off the bat you can get some pass-through Qs and try and get some early power there. But Flame does play against Impact and a lot of the NA top laners as well, so probably be expecting some shenanigans of the sort.
And Flame is going to be on that big tank to facilitate what has been a very meta composition that we've been seeing throughout groups. 2 big frontline tanks in top and jungle, 2 late game carries in the form of Corki and Tristana, and then the uncensored utility support in Lulu. You have a very similar composition from Longzhu, but Shen doesn't have that same sort of tankiness. His value really comes from making early plays with the Shen ultimate, trying to force picks and look for those counter engages whenever Immortals try to force something within the early to mid game.
Well, certainly could be a tough one. Immortals, 1 win and they're in. Longzhu trying to go undefeated. Alrighty, IMT, for potentially their last time at the group stage, will move out onto the Rift. Longzhu This will be their last game of groups, no matter what happens. They have finished atop the mountain here in Group B. They will be first, but Immortals, if they can do what no team is yet to do here at Worlds and upset Longzhu, they will secure themselves that second seed. So very high stakes between these two.
Every year at Worlds, Korean teams only get better from week 1 to week 2. Back in 2015, they had a 7-2 record and they went up to 8-1. Last year, they had a 6-3 record and then they went up to 8-1. This year, in week 1, they're already 8-1, and now they're looking to get that 9-0. And I feel that even though Longzhu are running a sub in the top lane, that priority is not going to change for them.
Certainly not. Again, wanting to show your strength. There are only 3 undefeated teams left in the tournament so far. Longzhu could be the first to 6 clean wins as the teams spread themselves out across the rift.
Interesting invades we have here. Deep wards for both on those blue buffs. Xmithie on the Sejuani. When you take the Hunter's Machete, you do want to start on your buff and do the single target camps. Because it's very difficult for her to try and do the AoE ones without the talisman. He's actually coning over and they do get some vision here.
Well, looks like, again, a bit of a scuffle in the 2v2.
Sejuani is good in 2v2 skirmishes if they don't take extra damage from the buff because of her passive and Flame also being able to stack that one up.
Also keep your eyes on the mid laners because they are going to be pivotal and who can ascertain this buff. Whoever arrives first could be a big determining factor. As you can see, BDD now having that push should make his way over to the jungle.
Patience here is reigning supreme as neither of them actually starting up the buff. BDD, as you said, comes over to try and sway. 3 members of Longzhu back down onto the buff. They are committing, giving up some lane priority. It's still going to have a chance for Xmithie to smite fight, but going to get difficult.
He's going to try and make this happen with all the bursts that Sejuani has. Does not get it. Cuzz steals the blue buff.
Really good timing there from Cuzz. I think that when you're going up against the E plus smite combo from Xmithie early on, that's a very difficult thing to predict, but Cuzz is able to now get that early level 2.
Yeah, good eye there from Cuzz, because that's the first time that's happened, but it's fairly annoying. Anyways, good eye from him. Even though Pobelter can say, hey, I'm going to use Frost Bomb right now, try and combo this, it has the delayed time to come down before the damage is there, and he just eyeballs it and gets the smite perfectly to secure the buff for himself. Thankfully for Xmithie, he didn't smite early, and that would have been the worst of that world, but Cuzz top lane is going to try and punish Flame.
This is a big power play here. Taunt lands from Rascal as well. Could get himself his first blood of his first world's Flame, flushing himself out of the way, but tagged by an auto will slow him down.
Nowhere to go.
Trying to book him with a flash pass through from Rascal might be enough. The rupture is good for the knockup, but they're still chasing him down. Pobelter is trying to roam up with the knockup blade, and Rascal not going to grab it. It's Cuzz with first blood.
And Pobelter tried to come over to lend some moral support, but there's going to be no saving him after that. This opening is going so well for Longzhu. They get the smite fight victory, then because of that victory, Cuzz is able to transition into a level 2 gank on top side.
Wow, Gorilla solo Janna roam, I guess with BDD's help on the left of your screen. Xmithie does get the blue buff, but Gorilla chased him off the rest of the camp.
And this could not be any better for Longzhu because remember, the style that they were able to win LCK Champions with was through playing their top lane. Typically we see it from Khan, typically he's known for being this hyper carry, but now it is Rascal there, trying to set him up for success in the early game, give him that confidence on the big stage.
And Cuzz has full confidence to go over here and face check Xmithie because they saw him chunked out and summoners blown in his attempt to steal back some of Cuzz's jungle. Regardless, Pobelter should be fine here. You know, he's getting pushed in, and if you look towards mid lane gank, it won't be very eventful.
Now in the bot side, Cody and Olleh doing a nice job here with the Lulu and the Trist to push in and try and deny some CS, but BDD on a very early roam back to the flashless Flame.
Ooh, they really want to punish this Cho'Gath. Even though they know there's a ward here, you can just blast cone over and run past it. Flame playing a lot of respect here, though, not getting in range of the Shen taunt.
He also knows that the wave will push towards him eventually. So Flame's more than happy to just sacrifice a little bit of experience and wait for BDD to show up on the map once again. Once he does, he can go back to pushing up the lane a little bit more, but I feel like the damage has already been done. 12s against the 24 in favor of Rascal, already level 5, and you're now looking towards that level 6 play that we were talking about that we love to see from these Shens. Cuzz can come bot, Prey gets level 6, and you start forcing things all across the map.
Remember, no flashes on this top side of the map because they were all blown in the early skirmishes.
Surprise here, knockup does land in. Xmithie trying to fight as Flame is going to rotate back in. BDD here first as expected on the Taliyah. And Longzhu might even dive Flame here. TP in from Pobelter. Going to save the day.
A lot of resources here being kind of siphoned away from Immortals with this constant pressure from Longzhu.
Yeah.
They're very happy to get that mid lane teleport out without having to risk anything on the tower dive. So although Immortals are holding on here, they're slowly bleeding away more power from the top side of the map.
Longzhu are playing this early game extremely well right now, knowing exactly what to do after that level 2 that they got first, just stealing away the blue buff. Cuzz has not slowed down. Now the bright side for Immortals is the fact that they have this power bomb.
Bottom side though, BDD is on the way. He's not even level 6, but he's roaming through to try and get some summoners.
And walks away. Prey a little too low perhaps there for that play, but BDD, he has been so active in the first 6.5 minutes of this game. Pobelter doing what he can, pushing the way back in, but BDD, even on CS pretty much, now going to move around back to his lane, and he just keeps moving out and pressuring the side lanes of Immortal.
But he is losing a lot of experience. You can see he just lost a wave right there, and even though the farm is even, the fact that Pobelter has gotten level 6 first means that BDD's roams are not as effective as they potentially could be. He just had to move to the bot side because that tower is getting very low. Prey and Gorilla had taken a lot of damage, and there was the risk of dropping that tower much sooner than Longzhu would have liked.
Here comes Cuzz as well. Shows himself here in the bot wave, shielded up by Gorilla. That's Prey already going back, gets a pickaxe and 2 daggers, not the most impactful buy early on here for Prey, but knows again, lane's been going poorly. It's 15 CS behind as Cody. He's going to get the Thunderlord's proc on, but no knock up there as Cuzz. Not quite there with the flag and drag.
Interestingly, BDD going for very early Merc treads in the middle lane, wants those tier 2 boots because his focus is very much about roaming around the map like we've seen all this game.
Yeah, I guess he's also worried about the Sejuani crowd control. So he's really investing in that tenacity early on. The magic resistance is going to go a little bit of a ways, but he's back out. Every single time he pushes up one wave, halfway roams down the map. Flame this time backing up, sends BDD right back to base.
Now we need to see Longzhu looking to make a play bot though, because if things stay the way they are, Immortals are eventually going to take that tower. Once it's gone, they can start moving Cody Sun and Olleh around the rest of the map, and that's where this early pressure can start to snowball in the favor of Immortals. You have a great scaling composition with the Corki and the Tristana, so the onus is on Longzhu to make the plays in this early game.
Buster shot committed there as well by Cody as Pobelter picks up the package. Cody Sun didn't really see where Cuzz was potential, or even BDD who could also threaten, so instead he goes back. He has 2.2k to spend, grabs himself a BF sword, a potion, and probably a couple of extra items there as well. In fact, straight for the aggression there, flat AD with a pickaxe as well.
Exactly. Sometimes we see actually teams lane swapping on this purchase. This is actually even more flat attack damage than we usually see from the first purchase of Trist, but since they're making so much headway on the bottom turret health, they're going to return back there. You do really have to re-emphasize how much of a possibility 5-man squad bottom for Longzhu is, though. They have the roaming mid and Shen top, so you have to be very, very careful if you're Immortals and kind of just poking at the danger down there and being very quick to back off, because as soon as those ultimates are blown, you have to be very, very worried.
And look at the wards from Longzhu as well. 2 littered fairly deep into the bot jungle of Immortals, along with the control ward at the entrance to the river. They have exact knowledge as to where Xmithie is, and if for 1 second they feel that Xmithie cannot react, that's when they're likely to strike. But we're just keeping our eyes very closely on the setup from Longzhu and how they force this, because Immortals, it's just a waiting game for them. They don't have to force anything right now. They're going to scale very nicely. They're gradually working towards this turret. But here we go. Here comes Cuzz.
Gonna try something here in the bot side now that the package is worn off there from Pobelter.
And it's actually a little bit worrying for Immortals that they have Xmithie coming down here. If they attempt something, again, there's going to be a lot of extra emphasis from Longzhu on getting there quickly. Pobelter's teleport will come up pretty shortly, and that will make Immortals feel a bit more secure down here, but here they go.
And corruption lands, but here's Xmithie. Actually, Cuzz walked away from the area, but now shows himself, and can't really afford to do too much again. IMT playing carefully.
As soon as you show your jungler on bottom side, though, Cuzz goes in. He's going to counter jungle these Raptors and take it away from Xmithie. Going to attempt to, at least, as Xmithie finds the control ward here.
Gonna take that one down, so protects his camp for now, but again, Longzhu playing very well. Just to defend when necessary and kind of take their advantage. They're actually 1,000 gold ahead pretty early on into this game, which is not an insignificant lead.
A little trick for viewers as well to see if the teams look like they're going to commit. Well, BDD is making a roam up here.
Oh, knock up there onto Rascal, but Flame could be trapped in this one. TP in there from IMT. Pobelter going to try and save it down as Flame does get the normal to Rascal. A good chunk of damage. Pobelter finds him in a great Spirit's Refuge. Can't protect him for long enough. Flame gets the kill.
That teleport had just come off a cooldown for Pobelter. Barely. Now can they get out alive?
The juke forward there for Flame. BDD now taking heat from Pobelter, but not enough here from the Corki.
Really good response from Pobelter. He was sick and tired of all these roams from BDD, and finally he's able to answer. They get the kill down onto Rascal, they relieve some of the pressure from Flame, and they get themselves on the kill board.
Now when Rascal comes back up, his Stand United will still be threatening. However, Flame teleport on Cho'Gath can answer that as well. So a little bit of hesitation, may come into question here. And it's all about who can get these wards past the river. Currently, they're just battling to get very shallow ones, and that's really aiding in this constant roaming.
BDD back to mid lane. His first wall not successful for his gank attempts to go thanks to Pobelter's excellent use of his global, but again the game continues kind of as normal. Longzhu still ahead, but 500 gold now, so that early lead's been cut in half thanks to that TP play.
Considering the number of times BDD has roamed and the number of failures he's actually had, this is really good for the side of Immortals. They can be very happy with the sort of pressure that they've been able to withstand in this early game, and while the 2v2 in the bottom lane no longer sits underneath Longzhu's turret, overall, they're still scaling nicely, they're still in a good spot, and they've even been able to equalize this kill score.
Cuzz has also thrown a lot of pressure that way. Xmithie's kind of been there, but not quite on time for a gank or counter gank. But now again, IMT taking further hold of this right-hand side of the map. Longzhu with good defensive control wards, but if Xmithie and Pobelter especially can sneak down there, then there's potential for a play here, because Gorilla is very squishy if he gets tagged by some sort of CC chain.
Cuzz walks in, gets some of that deeper vision. Pobelter, I believe, saw him put it though, so Immortals should be aware of that issue.
Cuzz taking a bit of damage, but BDD again able to push back down with Pobelter leaving that mid lane. So a lot of attention here towards this bot side. It has relieved something for Flame, but we're going to watch this one again and how good of a play this was for Immortals.
Now, note here, just keep your eyes on the cooldowns as well. TP has come back up. Flame also has flash, but he doesn't flash over the wall. He flashes towards his teleport because he knows if he buys enough time, Pobelter can help him swing this fight in his favor. BDD is stuck on the worked ground. Pobelter is just soaking up the skill shots from BDD, and that allows Flame to stay alive long enough to get the consumption and equalize the kills.
Yeah, the coordination there. Flame's very well aware of them trying to turn that one around. Flashes the seismic shove. He was almost able to walk out of the little indicator, but very close and didn't want to, risk it there. This bottom lane turret, though, this is probably going to be the powder cake that explodes. As we said, Stand United and teleports could come in to the bottom side, and the Longzhu bottom teleport getting so low might be a little bit dangerous because that can oftentimes be used as bait since it is such a decently valuable objective.
And it is a little concerning that Longzhu haven't tried to force anything yet, but it's not too late for them. IMT, they're still working towards their first items. They haven't completed anything yet as they're looking to try and get onto Pobelter.
He holds onto it.
Nerves of steel here for Pobelter. Ultimate finds BDD who insta-cleanses out of the way.
So last package here, the re-engage from the roam on bottom. Actually, a lot of damage there dealt by Pobelter and some confident play, confident footwork.
Has the Sorcerer's Boots along with the Sheen. You then have the extra kite ability with the Phage on top of the package, and Pobelter able to walk away. Level 11 now, getting that experience advantage after all the roaming being done by BDD. So Pobelter making up for his performances from earlier in the day, and now starting to contribute a lot as he continues to scale up.
Part of the issue here is that Xmithie is going to try this again, but Cody has a ton of unspent gold. Actually, again, more than 2,000 gold, and the Rage Blade's already done for Prey.
That's a really good point, bringing up the power difference here as far as in-combat power already out on the field. This Rage Blade is a pretty big spike for Varus if he could stay mobile. A lot of crowd control floating around down bottom side, though.
And I'm sure Immortals would love to spend this gold, but the moment they back, they're going to lose that tower. And that makes things favorable in terms of tempo towards Longzhu. and so they're trying to bring Xmithie down here to relieve some of that pressure. Maybe if they can force a wave out, then Cody Sun and Olleh can go back. But now Longzhu, they're finally looking to make that play.
This could be it.
Here comes the party. Level 2 ult there for Rascal, and then dunk instantly is onto Olleh. Goodbye as BDD able to take him down, and the turret goes with it.
Doesn't even bother to flash. Olleh gets obliterated after spending a little too long in the bot side. We were just talking about that unspent gold, and now they can finally spend it.
All right, well, Longzhu's going to take the Dragon right afterwards, and it's a little bit of a response on top side where Flame is pushing that up, but Longzhu very happy to get first turret bonus plus an Earth Drake on top.
Interesting, the Rascal would use his Shen ultimate there. I guess they wanted to be secure and safe on the play. Xmithie, don't think he's going to go for the steal. No need to give away his life for a very early mount.
Well, mountain over to Longzhu instead. As Cody, still not back, by the way, decided to stay for the waves and push this in. The turret is low, so if they're thinking that Longzhu are going back now, which they are as we can see, maybe Rascal's not enough to defend it. Immortals can finally equalize that turret.
Yeah, they definitely like to execute this so he can purchase on his next back. Already, Cody Sun is sitting on almost 2,800 gold in pockets. Now he also gets that turret gold, and it's going to be a very big purchase.
It's 3k unspent for Cody. But on the other side, his teammate Pobelter has actually got his Trinity Force, so you can kind of see
they're still going.
A lot of the item timings weren't quite there, but yeah, IMT just want to do this.
They're able to do this because Pobelter still has push in mid. BDD is forced to come mid and can't wave clear bot, and they've already seen that Varus is top lane as well. So Immortals know that there shouldn't be enough wave clear on the bot side, but Rascal with a good defense keeps that turret damage to a minimum.
Meanwhile, they're able to secure their own blue and not have to give that one up, despite committing jungler to that top side for quite a long time. The other thing Immortals now need to worry about is a top lane dive. Now Longzhu actually setting up for that possible roam.
Again, level 2 wall for BDD, so right now,
Pobelter teleport is ready.
All right, can we see a repeat of this play? IMT also running the bot lane up the lane here as a good rupture on Prey will delay this siege for a long time.
I wonder if Longzhu saw the bottom lane on their way or just expected it to happen. I think they wanted to try and bait the teleport out from Pobelter, but he was not budging until he saw some kind of commitment from Longzhu. That means that no summoner spell ends up getting used, neither advantage really gained for either side.
Again, steely resolve here for IMT in the face of a very fearsome opponent, but Longzhu not really done letting up. Oh, here's the TP. Xmithie looks for the ultimate, does slow down Gorilla, but now they're in onto Prey. Great cut up there, double TP for IMT. Xmithie takes down Gorilla. Flame gets the kill onto Prey, and a clean 2-0 team fight win.
Fantastic 5-man collapse from IMT onto the duo lane of Longzhu. Rascal did not have his Shen ultimate up. BD did not have his ultimate to try and save them, and this is going to give 2 swift kills in favor of Immortals, along with a tier 1 tower in the top.
Shen pushing on bottom side, and Rascal wants to try and get that objective first. BDD as well in mid lane, so Longzhu will get some gold for themselves.
Not a bad trade at all.
I think it's really worth mentioning, you're right, like, Immortals committed a lot to that play, and while at first glance it looks really good, they get a bunch of kills, they get a tower, the fact that Longzhu get a tier 2 and the mid lane is going to open up a lot of the map for them.
BDD now going in with the Shen, stand united.
Oh, Cody now going to try and jump out, but he moves through the rocks as BDD is going to keep pummeling him. Seismic Shove trying to predict the flash. The flash shot's not going to hit, but BDD cleans it up anyway.
BDD enters right back with the Rascal on his back, and now they've got control around the Riptail. Gonna take this one down pretty quickly. You would imagine that they would then transition into the top tower.
You would expect as much, seeing as you have Longzhu Prey pushing up towards the top lane, but now BDD has to answer mid. If he keeps this mid tower alive, this whole set of circumstances goes heavily in the favor of Longzhu.
Would have been great for IMT to crack that turret, but not quite enough as the Rift Tail does go over for Russ. No, it actually was Cuzz, picks it up. Rascal just standing in a spot, and Prey, the extension of this play again. Longzhu, so much time on the map, up in tempo, taking so much here as BDD finds himself solo kills.
Fantastic play from Pobelter. Getting that solo kill is going to relieve a lot of pressure around the map as well. Taking down that turret, closing the goal gap. Pobelter really stepping up for Immortals.
Huge plays from him. He teleports up top slide to save Flame in the earlier little skirmish, able to get the solo kill plus mid lane turret afterwards. But here's another look at the solo lane combination that was able to find Cody Sun.
Now Cody, he doesn't want to use his flash just yet. He's waiting for the W. He sees it and he's like, I'm taking a lot of damage. And then Rascal doesn't expect BDD to be able to land everything, but then he ends up dying. And now we get to see exactly how this 1v1 happened. Pobelter, he just hard commits. He has more damage than BDD does. He has his flash up too. And then he ends up getting this. That was pretty straightforward from Pobelter.
Very good stuff there for Immortals, and we kind of saw moving into, at least for today, Immortals, we saw in week 1 the solo laners looked so good. The bottom lane a little more shaky here, especially for Cody with so little experience, in fact no experience on this stage, but Flame had been playing well. Pobelter stepping up, and now Immortals as a team need to be playing to probably the highest level they've ever played in quite a long time, because beating Longzhu is possible, but it is so difficult, and they are still behind 2,000 gold. But to their credit, they are keeping the game close.
The last time Immortals and Longzhu met, Immortals were the team that had the early game lead and were forced to make a lot of early plays, but then one bad decision by going for a Drake ended up losing them the Baron, and then they almost immediately lost the game. Longzhu are in a slightly different situation now, where Immortals have the scaling composition. They're going to have really good team fighting later on into the game, and the pressure's more on Longzhu to try and force action to happen. They still need to utilize the channel, and they still need to try and find more of these roams. Yeah,
there definitely is a little bit of that advantage as far as the scaling for Immortals, but it's not this huge thing that's going to, end the game. So Longzhu, they do have some pressure on them to stay proactive, but they do need to also be careful about where they apply this.
Yeah.
Because if you throw away a lot of money to this squad, as you're saying, it can definitely go the other way. It's the end.
Gorilla caught here, but does heal his way out of trouble. Cuzz hooks in, but a good early rocket drop from Cody might protect him. Olleh, flash ulti, maybe not so lucky as the Stand United. Also going to deliver the Shen. Pobelter can't make it to the fight in time, but Flame is here.
They might actually have a collapse in the works.
It's a pincer maneuver. Good stun there. Oh, silence, sorry, from Flame. As actually now the damage keep moving through. Longzhu trying to find an angle, but Rascal taunts Cody. Oh no, Cody barely going to leave it. The hot barrier is out of the way, and Flame kills Rascal with a feast. Still going forward, Longzhu try to find an exit kill, but they do not grab it. Still, I think they have enough traction to take this Drake.
They have the health bars, and they force Cody Sun back. There's 2 Warmogs on Immortals, so Xmithie's going in for it.
Oh, he's gone straight in for it, but Cuzz does secure it. Xmithie, he's chilling out, forced to flash over the wall.
Look at the mid lane though, Pobelter, he's pushed that wave all the way up to the tower. He has the Sheen, he's getting a lot of damage down, and even though they end up losing the Ocean Drake, they get a kill, they get a lot of damage to the tower. And Immortals, I feel like they can be pretty happy with this overall.
Oh yeah, they're so happy, because when you're talking about the compositions and you're talking about the scaling, a lot of it for Immortals is when they're grouped up as 5. They evade during the Shen ultimate, and they kind of kite out the strength of that Longzhu, which would be catching someone off guard, then re-engage with the 5-on-5. Tank wars with Cho'Gath and Sejuani on your side are definitely what Immortals want to see.
Especially in those extended engages, because then they back away, the Warmogs regenerates the HP, and then they're more than happy to go back to the fight. So let's see how this all started off.
All right, so Xmithie, he tries to get the jump onto Gorilla, and they're able to disengage. As soon as they see Cuzz coming, they're expecting the Shen teleport. There they go with the extra slow from Xmithie, and the heal from Olleh kind of deters Rascal from trying to keep that chase up, even with the home guards. Then, as soon as they have their tanks in place, they feel more confident.
You've got to keep your eye on Rascal. Really good taunt on the Cody Sun, but where's the follow-up? Cuzz can't use his EQ because it's still on cooldown. You don't have backline threat in the form of Prey and BDD. They just have to keep hitting the tanks, and they don't die nearly as fast as Rascal does.
And then Flame puts it on display right there. That's why you don't want to go to tank wars with Cho'Gath. He gets the true damage execute, and that's why Immortals were able to get that kill. In the end, though, Longzhu still went back and took the Ocean Drake for themselves.
I'm sorry, Flame's bigger than the Rift Herald, but Longzhu just kind of let loose.
Purple Monster fight! Exactly, the ultimate Void Master Battle. Flame ends up winning. Congratulations, you're the greater monster.
We were kind of building that up to be epic, but Flame looked like that was an effortless, one-sided fight.
Well, again, this game still very tense. In fact, Longzhu not quite 1,000 gold ahead. And I believe this game has been kept within 2 to 3 for most of it. So IMT feeling much more confident with the items on their carries and their tanks to try and do something aggressive.
they're very happy with the situation that they're currently in. We've talked a lot about scaling, but just look at some of the spikes that Immortals have picked up for themselves, i.e. Trinity Force, i.e. Static Shiv, double Warmogs with a Righteous Glory. This team is poised and ready to fight.
Yeah, even though Longzhu still have this very small gold lead, it feels like you have to get creative. You have to utilize the extra movement speed or the extra teleports that you have on your team to kind of get an advantage on this Immortal squad. Because again, if Immortals get to set up battle lines, they've got 2 Infinity Edge using DPS and a very strong front line. If they can fight a kind of standard front to back, then that would definitely be the optimal situation for them.
And don't forget, we saw Fnatic a few minutes ago kind of watching this game intently. There are 3 teams' fates on the line in this last game of the group stage here in Group B. So a lot going on. Immortals just heads forward trying to find the win. Longzhu love to be undefeated as they threaten as one of the potential favorites of the tournament coming off an LCK championship defeating SKT. There's so much to show for both these teams, and for Immortals, a win here, that's it.
All right, what Longzhu would want to do, try and push the side lanes here. Make use of their Taliyah, of their Shen, and that side lane pressure to try and split up Immortals. Fnatic there on camera, though, they want desperately for that to happen.
They were laughing and kind of joking around a bit before, but Reckless looks a lot more nervous.
I mean, you have to think from Fnatic's perspective coming in today, especially after their week 1 performance and after what they were saying in social media, that they were not feeling that confident coming into today. Their expectations were not that this was going to be a 3-way tie, but now it all depends on the performance of Immortals. And again, they are looking very good. They can match the 1-3-1 because they have the double teleport themselves. Pobelter feels very strong and arguably should win out on the 1v1 against BDD if he just makes that one misstep, and he's using that to confidently push up. But he has no wards, so he's got to be a little bit more cautious.
You're making a good case here, Vedius, but I would caution with NA Week 2. That's all I've got.
Also, Longzhu.
Longzhu.
Longzhu could be a bit risky, but BDD here, Rascal ready with the Stands United. So again, IMT, incredible patience as they just try and slowly set up the game. Methodical is not usually what we associate with Immortals. We associate it with their opponents, but today Immortals are just trying to play slowly and steadily.
All right, Longzhu have Shen in the bottom side to get the bottom creep wave moved up. That's the optimal one for Baron situations. They've got BDD currently getting topside moving, so Immortals, while they are feeling solid in a 5-on-5, the side lanes are starting to close in, and the timer is definitely ticking down.
And intense games like this, things crack so quickly as soon as something like a big Baron fight happens or the objective goes over to a team. Even an Infernal Drake is up in about 50 seconds to add a little more spice to this very, very interesting mid-game. We're approaching the 30-minute mark, and again, with barely 2,000 gold between the teams, neither team is out of it. And yes, IMT will be happy to sort of wait, but there's no guarantee if you get to 45, 50 minutes that the game's going to go your way.
The thing is, for Immortals, is that when you look at how they've played throughout the day, game 1, they got caught completely unawares by the high aggression, the high playstyle that we saw from the Gigabyte Marines. Then against Fnatic, they hold the lead for the majority of the play, but then a few individual mistakes is what resulted in them effectively falling apart. Now, those individuals cannot afford to make those same mistakes in this scenario. Longzhu are not the kind of team or have the kind of players that make those individual mishaps, and they will look to punish you if you make one wrong step.
Definitely true. We've got an eye on the vision as well here, as Immortals are actually moving it up quite nicely, setting up for this fight. The ultimate from BDD used very early on, and again, every ultimate like that, those are the creative tools, the possibilities that Longzhu would want to use to get that advantage, try and get the avenue where they can actually break up those battle lines from Immortals, but one more not going to be on the table.
Can't see anything as Cuzz dives in. He could be the killer as the Sand United does already get used. Cody, though, maybe walked a little too far away, but Immortals are still trying to do it. A busted shot splits the fight up again as Cuzz dives into the carries to try and get something happen. A big silence there as Flame on a rampage takes out the jungler, but he does get shut down.
Holy moly, what a hero move from Cuzz. He knows he has the Shen ult. He survives for so long, and now their eyes are on the Baron.
Xmithie's going to go in for this. He has flash as well. It's too late. No, they don't pull the trigger.
Pobelter went back as well, I think hoping he could TP back into it, but Longzhu take their third Drake of this game, and it will be an Infernal added to the stockpile.
So surprised that it was Longzhu that pulled the trigger in that fight. I figured it would be so dangerous to try the full 5-on-5 against this Immortals composition, but it was because of the good decision-making from Cuzz and forcing Cody Sun out. So keep your eyes on the Jarvan. He's the one you want to be following as he gets an EQ combo onto Cody Sun. That forces the AD carry out of the fight, and now Longzhu can just focus the front line because the back line threat of Cody disappears almost instantly.
Yeah, Cody then comes back in to try and flank, and he uses his ultimate to knock out the DPS of Longzhu. That's what buys time for Immortals to actually get the one kill, and it ends up being 1-for-1, but in the end, that's a very big prize. The Infernal Drake going over.
Yeah. But it was also because of the ultimate from Prey too, because he lands it onto Xmithie and that spreads to Cody Sun, who then has to back out of the fight once more. And you can just see the damage difference between the two AD carries. He just could not get involved in the fight. And you just have to recognize this is the individual talent we were talking about on Longzhu and how you need to be stepping up if you want to match the caliber of this team.
And again, we look over to Immortals, we think about their players and what they put together to make this run to get to Worlds. I have to again look at Pobelter this game, the team's captain, one of his most experienced players in the NALCS. Had a great week 1, a not so good start to week 2, but if he carries this game for his team, he can erase all that from his memory.
And he's setting himself up to do it. 105 on the Corki. 3 items completed. This guy is ahead in levels, he's ahead in power, and he has the ability to carry the whole game, but it's all about how he positions, what priority targets can he get onto, and how much of a risk is he willing to take.
Well, he's got the package, and he's ready to deliver it. What's going to be inside? Is it going to be a victory here and a pass on to quarterfinals, or are they going to take themselves into the tiebreaker scenario?
Well, Rascal again, both globals up, so he's ready to split push down the bot side. Flame is sticking with his team in these tense situations around Baron. You need to have your Cho'Gath available, but that is giving Longzhu a huge side lane advantage.
You can see Rascal sitting on the side lane with TP, with the ultimate. Would expect BDD to move topside, but Cuzz, he wants to try and force a fight.
Cody again, but holds his cooldowns. Such a great threat from Cuzz, but bluff called there from Cody.
And meanwhile, Pobelter in the top side on Corki with his Trinity Force, slowly moving towards that turret. BDD is going to arrive to try and wave clear, but Pobelter is going to be able to join. He uses the package.
I think he's, oh, he did use it actually to get over. That means IMT going to try and start something here, but no vision, no angle for a Sejuani ultimate.
It could have also been timing out there, and now Immortals are left with a bottom lane pushing Shen, while all grouped up here around mid lane, and they do not have control of the minion waves.
You got to go so soon here if you're Immortals. And looks like maybe the call is onto the Baron. They clean out the vision. They know they've got full domain.
Immortals do have a pretty fast Baron clear with the Corki and the Cho'Gath ultimate, but they're too afraid to commit as long as you have priority mid lane.
Yeah, Longzhu call that bluff. They keep Rascal down bottom. He's making a lot of work on that turret.
And Flame's going to be late here to this party. In
They're
fact, the wave is too big. Rascal going to take that solo. They're actually going to gank him instead. The 2 TPs are bot side, so Rascal has to try and get away. Silence there by Flame. The Rupture's going to miss. He dodges out of the way, flashes out over the wall, and I think he's maybe saved. Cody, though, is also coming in.
Yeah, he's got another wall to try and jump over here, and the rest of his team are drawing Immortals up towards the Baron.
Longzhu are afraid themselves to commit to the Baron. They don't think that they can take it down quickly enough. They will be happy with the tower. No summoner spells were used from Immortals, but now if... Okay, Prey is going to go back to base. I thought maybe Longzhu could try and rush it with Rascal's ultimate on top of them. Not going to take that gamble. Instead, everything is going to reset, and Longzhu with a very slight advantage in the bottom lane.
Well, no control words here right now for IMT. We'll sweep out this one as the Baron. Ooh, Tornado a little short, so Xmithie able to freely take down the ward in the back. Going to take the speed train and the Scuttlecraft down as well. And again, Immortals building up their strength on their carries, approaching 4 items, but still have yet to find their fight.
I still feel like Immortals right now are in the power position. They're the ones that find it easier to force the fights. They're the ones that have the better scaling, and it's on them to really just wait for Longzhu to make the slip up. But this Korean powerhouse are not making that mistake. They came back from a 10,000 gold deficit and were still able to win. And right now, they're not giving Immortals that window to force that fight.
Will Immortals remain cool under the split pressure? Once again, Rascal's down bottom and he's getting the wave moving. They're taking over vision around the Baron. This is where teams are made and lost, is around this Baron with a bottom lane pressure. There is no inhibitor turret on that bottom lane inhibitor, and the threat is very real.
You know, we talked about how this means a lot for Fnatic, but it also means a lot for the Gigabyte Marines, because if Immortals win this game, they secure themselves the quarterfinal spot, and that battle tiebreaker situation doesn't happen. So Gigabyte Marines and Fnatic are both putting in their fate into Longzhu so that every single team can try and find their way out of this group.
Longzhu fans, Fnatic fans, and Gigabyte Marine fans all together in this one versus Immortals fans.
The North American squad, they have not had a great week so far, but this could be the win that changes everything. And Immortals, they're in a situation to do it.
I mean, again, look at that stack on these marksmen. Pobelter and Cody, 4 items each. Crater with a lot of shields as Cuzz is going in, but Cody holds the line. The Chain Corruption is good, but here's the redemption to reset the fight. BDD going in as Pobelter tries to get his way out. Does finally go down to Prey and Xmithie. Oh, he splits the difference on the ulti as Flame. Late TP's in and gets caught in BDD's wall.
We talked about how Pobelter needed to be the carry for his team, and he is the one that gets caught out. He uses the flash. It is not enough, and now Longzhu have their eyes on the Baron.
All right, Rookie, get in there. Cody, you need to salvage this fight for your team, but Longzhu tearing down the Baron, and I just don't know if there's a way to try and get in here.
Are they going to go for the 50-50?
Flame's got ult. It wouldn't even be 50.
That's true.
He has flash as well. Longzhu have to be patient, but now they split off the carries. Cody tags Prey for a good chunk of damage, but Immortals are split.
Remember that Pobelter has teleport, so if Immortals can delay long enough for him to revive, then he can join. But now they're cut off here.
Oh.
The 2 tanks might just go down for this.
2v5, Pobelter dead for 14 more seconds. Xmithie goes down, and now the smite's out from this Baron attempt.
Cody Sun running down mid lane, taking turrets, and Flame still threatening the flash over to try and execute with his ultimate.
Big Rupture finds 3.
Teleport from Pobelter is up. He could join.
Immortals, what's the choice? Are they going to go now? Pobelter, get a Chandler, looking for a fight! Oh! Able to smite down the Baron, but they're going to still fight. Another Big Rupture is Pobelter into the back of the fight. Prey shut down by Cody Sun. Rascal does take out Pobelter, but the fight is continuing. BDD still here. The knockoff finds Cody, and Longzhu turn it around.
What a crazy fight, but everything falls apart for Immortals. Longzhu are the ones to come out on top. They get the 3 kills in the Baron pit, and they secure the Baron.
And they're going to be able to move over to the Elder Dragon as well. That team fight has huge, huge rewards.
Look at the excitement on the Gigabyte Marine's face. It's ecstatic right now after Longzhu with such a massive fight.
I believe that is because of the expected favor there to Longzhu.
All right, we said the game was close, but Longzhu have now finally broken ahead of the pack.
Well, they actually did not, try and rush down that Elder Dragon. With Xmithie having died so much earlier, he was actually back up.
Look at Flame, uses ulti, 1.5k damage, just slightly miscalculates it. And Longzhu, they get the smite, they get the skirt. Now, that was a fantastic package from Pobelter, but he also throws himself into the middle of 3 members of Longzhu. BDD dealing damage on the side means that he's not at any real threat, and even though Prey ends up going down, Longzhu get all the kills onto the primary carries and walk away happy chappies.
That's a picture of a happy chappy.
Woo!
There, I guess.
And now the Dragon, still started here by Longzhu. Immortals not in position. Flame in the top lane, dealing with Rascal's pesky side lane shenanigans again. So Longzhu, they already took the Baron. They're going to likely take the Elder Dragon here as well, but Xmithie and the rest of Immortals actually kind of hoping to defend here.
Shen ultimate is available. Cho'Gath forced the group because he has no TP.
They're going. Cuzz, he's going to jump back into the carries. Now Shen's going to join the fray. Fredo letting it rip with a huge shot. Might be in there. Redemption's good as Flame. Takes down Cuzz, but Xmithie dies to Prey. Pobelter zoned off by BDD as Flame is trying to tank as best he can, but Rascal just so much help to work with his Prey. Going to find himself with a double kill. Cody flooded out under the shove, and now maybe they can turn it around.
That was not a great wall from BDD, but Longzhu still come out ahead in the fight. Junglers have been traded. Flame is added to the side of Immortals. And Longzhu, their eyes are back towards the Baron with no smite available.
Yeah, Elder Dragon here is going to be an option, but without any smites, there is no super secure, clean finish here from Longzhu, and Pobelter might be able to thread a rocket in there. I don't know if they actually want a chance. I guess they are going to take their chances here. It's a small chance for the steal. Immortals are going to throw everything they have, though.
Control ward in, just have to kind of read the play and see what happens. First rocket's going to miss, and that's Elder Dragon over to Longzhu.
Is it still a 50-50 if there is no smite?
Longzhu did a very good job of zoning off any possible damage that could come in. Not only were they threatening Pobelter, but they also standing in front to blow up the rocket.
And I want to keep your eyes on Cuzz once again, because that ulti was fantastic. It keeps Xmithie separated from the backline, and Cody Sun forced to focus Cuzz down while he has the Shen ultimate on top of him along with the Spirit's Refuge. So Cody Sun can't force his way through the tanks in the same way that Prey can, and Longzhu set themselves up pretty much for success. And then the ulti even forces Gorilla to use his flash. BDD, probably not ideally how he wanted to use that one.
Well, still a team fight win there for Longzhu, who have not too much Baron left, but now going to play with the Elder Dragon buff. As you can see, just how impressive Prey has been on this Varus. You talk about big late game carries like Tristana, the likes of someone like Corki, who stacks up so well with a full item build, but Prey has been king of these team fights so far. And Longzhu, as patient as ever, never really felt like, despite the potential scaling difference in these comps, despite the power points Immortals hit, just did again, played a very slow game, found their window, took the Baron, took the Elder, and now they're 7,000 gold ahead, trying to look and close this game.
Here they go, all grouping up around the top side. Again, Rascal split pushing on bottom, getting the minion wave moving. Still, the inhibitor is exposed.
BDD chilling out. Again, kind of wall between the lanes very quickly. Now that he's at level 18, but IMT maybe just need a couple of engages to go their way. They have the teamfight power if they can fight it properly, but so far Tristana and Corki have not been in the same spot to really DPS. Longzhu have played the fights very well.
Yeah, they really have. It's been so difficult for both Cody Sun and Pobelter to really damage that backline. But to be fair, this game has all been about which frontline dies first. And typically you would expect that Xmithie and Flame survive longer just because of how tanky they are. But that's not the case because of the use of Cuzz and him being the one that's always starting these engages, and Rascal and how effective Spirit's Refuge is against this double AD carry comp. For a substitute that's come in for his first Worlds game, he has done a fantastic job so far.
Yeah, they're mitigating a lot of Cody Sun's damage by putting threat onto him. So Cody Sun is spending a lot of these team fights, you know, walking around or rocket jumping and trying to disengage, whereas Prey is almost 100% auto attack uptime. So that's why we're seeing so much output from the Baron.
Ooh, Flame almost dying over the wall as Cuzz actually flashed in to try and get a Rascal again, blocking all of the shots with a stun. He's going to hit Cuzz on the left side. The Feast isn't bad, but the Redemption will reset it as Prey aggressively forward, not going to eat the Rupture, just keeps moving in towards Immortals.
A lot of summoner spells were used on the side of Longzhu, so Immortals feeling pretty confident. Flame, he's going to back off, does have the TP, and look at the ward in the lane, but he's not going to set up the play fast enough. That means they won't be able to get the collapse, and Longzhu are forced to back away.
Round 2 does not transpire. IMT hold on to their inhibitors for a little while longer. Cody, full build now on the Trist. Pobelter cannot be very far away with 1,000 gold in the bank and a BF sword as that final component item. We are pushing ourselves to a very late stage of the game, and at some point this gold lead will dissolve, and it's just a question of can Immortals outfight the LCK champions?
Well, so far they haven't been able to, and I think that's going to get even harder as Prey decided to sell his GA for what I believe looks like a Mercurial Scimitar. This guy has an 858 damage per minute score so far in this game. Extremely impressive damage output, and you'd expect that on the Varus it becomes much harder, but certainly not for an AD carry like Prey.
Well, again, Longzhu just bide their time, go back. Baron is up in 5 seconds, so Longzhu making sure they prepare properly for this objective.
Yeah, Immortals have already done their homework, though. They've got Scuttle and a bunch of wards littered all over by Baron. So we are going to get another look at it. Again, the recipe, as we say for Longzhu, send your Shen bottom. There's an exposed inhibitor. Create that pressure. Force the hand of Immortals.
But it's Immortals that are now looking to force the hand.
Very aggressive Baron start here. IMT just sitting in the pit and tanking a good wall from BDD. Actually cuts off Cody most importantly, but Flame still there ready with the smite. Rascal's in with a stance united. Cody though getting shredded down, forced to burn the barrier. Immortals, a split fight here as Pobelter once again. Chuck Rascal finds Cody, but it's not quite enough just yet. IMT still fighting on two fronts as BDD got low. Pobelter trying to thread it in there, but he can't quite finish it off. Prey flashes forward, gonna try and finish the fight, and Flame goes down. Cody out the way this time, but now 1v4 flashes out.
Longzhu once again demonstrating why they are the LCK champions, getting another amazing fight against Longzhu. They forced them back and they've got their eyes on the Baron.
All right, again, last chance to Luna's Prey almost gets assassinated by Pobelter's Corki. Xmithie ready for the steal, but BDD's caught him. Cuzz back out with a slow. Gonna try and take down the jungler, but Cody's still going with the DPS. The carry for Immortals still alive.
Immortals here, last ditch effort. They do not get in, and now Longzhu with Baron buffer coming for the base.
Time to book it. IMT abandoned ship as Longzhu now have the Baron.
And I can't wait to break down this replay, because this time it was tanks on tanks and carries on carries. Prey getting onto the back line, doing so much work, making Cody's life a difficult once again.
Tanks on tanks with Baron sandwich in the middle, auto attacking the entire time. Here goes the wall, and that's what's going to corner off Pobelter and Flame inside this Baron pit. Cuzz sees it getting slow, and he knows that Immortals want to execute, so he gets right in there. They're cornered inside on the back, and it's just dishing out the damage.
And you just Prey doing so much work, walking all the way past the tanks, his eyes focused onto Cody, and I hope we get the damage dealt afterwards, because I think you'll find that Cody, he just could not have the impact that he wanted to in this fight. Prey is always under zero threat. And it just, when you pair that up with a Janna, you're now seeing the late game differences, the late game value between Janna and Lulu.
That has to be a record. That is insane from Prey.
That's why he's top 5 in the world. Very impressive AD carry, dealing out so much damage in what could have been the game-ending fight. That's a lot of damage.
That's like an absurd amount of damage. Think about how many Cho'Gaths with Stoneblade activated that is. It's a little more than one, which is nuts.
So it's a funny thing about Stoneblade. When it raises your max HP, so all the percentage HP damage really does shine in those team fights. And against the Xmithie and Flame frontline here with Cho'Gath and Sejuani, extremely high health pools, you do get a lot of that. And so that also helps fund those numbers. But Prey has just been outstanding here. Actually, not just here, but all group stage long. And a huge part of why Longzhu are looking to end it undefeated.
They've certainly been in form ever since they win in the LCK. This team, we're going to go undefeated here in their first ever Worlds as Rascal continuing the side lane pressure in top. This inhib has not been taken yet, but Longzhu, they are persistent.
Longzhu, they're looking to close things out. They brought in their sub. At first, it didn't feel like they were utilizing the Shen properly, but he has been doing so much work with Cuzz in these fights. And Prey and BDD being those main damage dealers. The game felt very close in the mid points, but Longzhu with a team always coming out ahead in these fights.
With a support like Gorilla on a champion like Janna, Prey has been playing with such confidence very well. Could be the best bottom lane in the world. They are absolutely in contention given how good they have been, and Prey showing off in this game versus Immortals.
And reminder, if Longzhu win this game, they force the battle of the tiebreakers. Every other team in Group B will be looking to secure that quarterfinal spot, while Longzhu will end their group stages at 6-0.
Prey's just not taking any damage here. Gonna finally finish off that inhib. Longzhu again, the patience is rewarded as they finally break the bottom inhibitor.
Everybody on the edge of their seats kind of waiting for Longzhu to deliver the last blow. An inhibitor is down. Immortals are making a play on Rascal, but the rest of the team are rotating up.
Prey's actually in mid lane now, pushing down yet another inhibitor, I believe, as BDD cuts everybody off at the pass. And Cuzz again finds the knock-up onto Cody Sun. He's trying to get the damage done, but Flame just melts in front of the Longzhu damage. The inhibitor falls, and now it's 5v4.
Longzhu, they're looking for the final inhibitor. They're looking for their final winning groups. Immortals are not that today, as Longzhu have their eyes on the Nexus.
Gonna push forward here. Flame dead for 50 more seconds. But Nexus turret number 1 under threat. Pobelter with the package needs to maybe make something happen, but a massive redemption's gonna re-heal the team. Longzhu feel like cannot finish just yet.
3 inhibitors destroyed, though. Their work substantial. Elder Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. I think they want to add that one to their list of accolades.
Want to pad out the objective scoreline, you know, moving into quarters, but they will set up a bit of vision as they make their way out. Gonna go back to base, spend the last bit of gold, but we're in the super late game, it doesn't matter that much, and now we can just look back at their attempts to take down Rascal.
Yeah, and we're going to have the wall from BDD. Nice cutoff here, separates the Immortals team from, you know, trying to defend, and Frey here moves right up, even though he gets hit with a rupture. Not phased at all. Gets to turn around and completely obliterate Flame.
Poor Flame. He just kind of got left out to dry. He's such a big target too. It's kind of hard not to hit him. And now both teams resetting around the Elder. If Immortals can take the Elder Dragon, then maybe they can win a fight and turn this game around. But Longzhu, they just have to play the patient game. They have 3 inhibitors taken from Immortals, and those super minions will just slowly work into the base, and someone from Immortals has to answer.
Does feel like Immortals might just be giving it up as Prey topping the charts in damage here in this game, very unsurprisingly. Elder Dragon over to Longzhu, Immortals decide they only have 1 team fight. They're gonna make their final stand in front of their Nexus.
All right, backs against the walls for Immortals. Longzhu with the Elder Dragon, 3 Elemental Drake buff, huge gold advantage, and 3 inhibitors down.
Well, Longzhu pushing in for what could be the final time of their group stage. Immortals, there's been never another time to go. Let's pray. Oh my god, he just sniped Pobelter. BDD in there as well. He is deservedly unstoppable as he takes down the Corki. Immortals just can't do anything as Cuzz will go down to Olleh, but Xmithie, he'll burn down next. Prey got himself a triple kill as he might look to close out with a Penta, but it is academic, immaculate, and most importantly, undefeated as Longzhu and the storm that swept through Group B.
51 minutes is how long it took Longzhu to end the game. Immortals fought hard, but every time they tried to challenge the Korean powerhouse, they could not keep up, and Longzhu were the ones to take the victory in the end.
And congratulations to Rascal. They did it with their substitute player. He is undefeated. He is 1-0 here at Worlds as well.
Matching his team now, you know, efforts here in the World's group stage.
And what an immaculate performance from just so many members. Cuzz, with his great engages, the support that he had from Rascal, knowing that he could just commit to the backline and he wasn't going to instantly lose his life. BDD with a number of great walls, consistent damage output from Prey, and Gorilla just always being there to make sure that his carries were not at risk. A fantastic overall team performance, and you can see how they are such a scary team, and no one wants this team in the quarterfinals.
Well, I've just been told that Prey had 1,500 damage per minute.
It's not bad.
It's a 51-minute game. It might inflate it a little bit, but that is an awfully consistent amount of damage on Longzhu. Certainly deserve a lot of praise we are throwing their way.
And now, we get the tiebreakers, boys. Nobody thought it would happen. North America went 0-3, Fnatic went 2-1. It's now a battle to the death as Group B fights for that quarterfinal spot.
This is kind of what we're used to, right? Korea #1, everybody else fight.
Well, the Watch 3 teams fight it out for the last spot. Immortals got to keep their mouse and keyboards at those computers because they're up next as Longzhu. They did get the win, but for more, we'll head over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. Kobe echoing the sentiments of many NA fans. Hey, we've been here before. At least this is a comfortable position. But with Longzhu defeating Immortals, we will have a 3-way tie for second place in Group B. So to get a little business out of the way, since the teams have the same head-to-head record, the first seed will go to the team with the lowest cumulative win time, the Gigabyte Marines. That means the first tiebreaker game will be between Immortals and Fnatic, with the winner going up against the Gigabyte Marines to determine the second quarterfinalist from Group B. Because Fnatic have a lower cumulative win time than Immortals, they will have side selection for the first game. All right, they've chosen blue. That's what we know. Before we get to those tiebreaker matches, let's talk about this Longzhu squad. 6-0, undefeated group stage, the #1 seed out of Korea, continue to impress. This time around, sub-top laner.
Sure.
They still get the win.
Yeah, and this was actually the hardest day for Longzhu. There were quite some tough games for them where they went really long, but that's kind of the thing about Longzhu. They're showing they don't need to snowball early game to win. Like, they can play full late game. They have the best AD carry in the world, proven in this game as well, and it's just fun to watch them play.
And while this was a long game, it never really felt super, super close in the actual team fights. Like, you were talking about the Janna a lot. It felt like Prey was largely unthreatened. It felt like he had access to do whatever he wanted to do. And Immortals really was struggling, even with full builds in the late game.
Yeah, exactly. And the draft you see on your screen here, I think there were some mistakes from Immortals, things I would have seen different. First pick, Lulu. I'm not a fan of that. Most teams are going for first pick Janna now. It just makes you much stronger in the late game, where Janna outscales. And then I also think in the second phase, where they're banning away the Syndra and the Trundle, banning Syndra against BDD doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Ban Taliyah, ban Galio. You then have a sick late game with Janna. And you have, no Taliyah dealing,
I mean,
some
at
serious
Worlds,
damage to you.
coming into the day, Janna was at an 80% win rate, right? I mean, you compare that to coming into the day, actually, Lulu was sitting at 37.9. It seems almost as like the clearest decision you could ever make.
I mean, Janna's just so good against tanks. That's the biggest thing to me, is that when tanks are in the meta, when you have these binary champions like Shen and like Gragas and Cho'Gath and even, the Jarvan, Janna denies pretty much everything you want to do. You're relatively low sustained damage. The shields are shutting you down. When you try to come forward, you can get denied by the tornado. The ultimate can push you back out of the fight, and it just keeps someone like the Varus so free to be getting those auto attacks off.
She's just the best defensive support out there right now.
By far.
By far.
Yeah, when we were looking at these compositions, though, admittedly, we looked at Immortals team comp and we said, hey, if this does get to full 6 items, they should be able to stack up. Then it is about who can play better within the 5v5
To be fair,
composition.
it felt like Cody Sun on Tristana does less damage than anybody else on Tristana.
Let's take a look. Game-deciding Baron fight here for Longzhu. We're going to roll it out.
Okay.
Of course, they get the pick on Xmithie to start it off.
This one, note the mini-map, because Cody Sun is pushing mid, and this is where Immortals is threatening to steal a Baron, because Longzhu just pulled off away from it. And here, Cody Sun should stay pushing mid. You have a Cho'Gath. He can threaten the steal. He has flash. And I felt like this was the opportunity for Immortals to go with a split shot call where you push mid, you steal a Baron, because look at that. He could have done that a little bit later, and this could have been, you get the Baron, you get the inhibitor, you win the game.
That being said, they choose the fight, and I think even within the fight, it's still looking okay for Immortals. Cody Sun still has his flash, and that is the key moment. You need to actually flash that Jarvan engage and the taunt follow-up, because at that point, none of the remaining Longzhu members had flash available, so if they use their gap closers, you can maybe kite that out and make something happen.
I think taking the fight here with Tristana is the correct call.
Okay.
There is no way Cho'Gath ever gets in range to try and steal it if Cody Sun is not there as well, because then all Longzhu will do is they will just peel off the Baron, hard engage with Shen, Jarvan, take a kill on Cho'Gath, and then just go back to the Baron.
Are you comfortable just making the trade, though, in him for Baron?
So, I actually disagree with that, because if Cho with flash, he can still threaten from the back. Who is going to peel off and actually threaten from that backside?
They just, no matter what, Longzhu will not let the Baron go down so low. They will just jump the Cho'Gath and know there's no risk of losing a fight and kill the Cho'Gath and go back to Baron.
What I love about this, though, this is a perfect example of the decision that Immortals had to make.
Yeah,
the thought process that I'm sure all of them went
half
through.
a second.
And then you have to realize that,
we've had some time. We've had some time.
We took 30 minutes and then 2 minutes here to discuss it, and we still don't agree. So it very clearly illustrates what Immortals was up against here in terms of those split-second decisions and why it is they ultimately fell to Longzhu. What I want to do now is kind of refocus for Immortals. It was meant 0-3 on the day. This is not how you wanted to do it. You came in knowing that you only had to do so little to move on, and now you're stuck in a tie-break scenario where you got to win 2 back-to-back.
I would say for Immortals, if they can repeat this sort of a performance against Gigabyte Marines, against Fnatic, I think you win both those games. They need to play a patient game. They need to play a more measured game. I think that they did show a relatively strong performance here, and that's all that's required to beat these other teams, because in general, the 3 teams beside Longzhu have shown that they're extremely inconsistent. So as long as you can have the basics down, I think you're good.
It's all that's required, but this is basically a super week on steroids. That's 4 games. That's 5 games in a row that you've already lost 3.
Maybe they're on tilt.
To back. So it takes a tremendous mental resilience for them to bounce back and make it out of groups.
And at this point, just pure stamina, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been awake, you've been focused for so long, you've got to keep it going and play at the top of your game. Coming up next, we'll have our first tiebreaker game between Fnatic and Immortals. Meet us back here right after this.
Pobelter, he's trying to run up with the knockoff blade, and Rascal not going to grab it. It's Cuzz with first blood.
Focus Janna. Okay. No Varus. We get Varus after. Nice.
And Immortals are still trying to do it. A busted shot.
splits the fight up again as Cuzz dives into the carries to try and get something happen. A big silence there as Flame on a rampage takes out the jungler.
천천히 천천히.
잠깐만 나 죽었다 나 죽은 싸움
살살살살살. 이겼어 이겼어 이겼어.
나 죽은 싸움이야
이긴 거 같은데? 됐다.
Pobelter zoned off by BDD as Flame is trying to tank as best he can, but Rascal just so much help to work with his prey. Gonna find himself with a double kill. Unstoppable as he takes down the Corki. Immortals just can't do anything as Cuzz will go down to Olleh, but Xmithie, he'll burn down next. Prey got himself a triple kill. Longzhu and the storm that swept through Group B.